Hello there, it's Luke from Auto Choice Car Supermarket in Blackburn, and today, obviously, we do have EVs on the rise coming into 2025, but what we are going to do is run through a few common questions people have, and obviously Mythbusters, and see whether we can help them out along the way from their move from petrol and diesel cars to fully electric. So, biggest question most people ask, and the biggest myth on cars is obviously the range. A lot of people get obviously what everyone calls range anxiety, where they feel like the car won't get them from A to B and they might run out of charge, which is understandable. But a big point a lot of people don't see is about 44,000 charging points, electric charging points in the UK at the moment. So the infrastructure is there for the rise of the electric vehicles. Compare that to sort of the 8,600 petrol and diesel stations there are in the UK. It obviously is a massive, massive difference. There's plenty of charging, so there's no need to be worried about any of that. In regards to range, a lot of electric cars will do a minimum of sort of 100 miles, and they can go all the way up to 350 miles. That's on a single charge. So on average in the UK, a lot of people do about 15 miles for a commute. So there is obviously plenty of time there, and you obviously won't need to charge the vehicle. So you've got about a week to even a month, maybe you won't even have to charge a car if you are doing sort of the UK average on commuting. Another big mythbuster that people tend to find with electrics, and a big question I get asked as well, obviously dealing with electric cars a lot of the time, is the big misconception is that people think you're going to have to sit there and charge the car for hours. A quick point on that, a lot of cars these days have the fast charging, which means you can get them from about 0 to 80% charge in around about half an hour's time. On average, a lot of people, if they're going on a motorway or a big trip, they'll end up stopping at the services. And on average, I think it works out you spend about 28 minutes worth there. So you've got to think that'll easily get your car from 0 to 80, even if you are in a bit of a smaller vehicle, a bit of a smaller EV with a slightly smaller battery and lesser range. You might even get it up to 100% in about half an hour. So it definitely is a problem that you won't be sitting there for hours charging your car. And obviously it's not as inconvenient as you may think. If you are obviously going on a long trip, you may just have to plan one stop along the way to a services, which you would do anyway. Obviously if you wanted some food on the journey, if you were going from one end of the country to the other. But obviously at this point, you can always stop for food and charge your car at the same time, which is a bonus for everyone. And another big misconception people do have about electric cars is obviously the maintenance cost, which in all honesty is not that expensive at all compared to sort of petrol, diesel, hybrid vehicles. What you've got to think with them ones, you do have about 4,000 moving parts just in the engine bay alone, whether that be obviously pistons, things like that, which electric cars just don't have. Obviously you do share a few same items, obviously suspension linkages, things like that, but in general, all you've got on an electric car is motors and batteries. Which obviously are covered under the manufacturer warranty on most electric vehicles for about 8 years or 100,000 miles, which is more than enough. And a big reason why people obviously do move into the electric cars is they are trying to bring down the cost, whether that be on a monthly basis or a yearly basis. Obviously, on average, they do tend to be a lot cheaper than obviously the petrol, diesel and hybrid counterparts. So you normally get sort of a newer car for a little bit less, which is always a bonus, which means it's normally covered under manufacturer warranty. A lot of electric cars are obviously with the batteries, normally 8 years to 100,000 miles. But another big thing is obviously charging on them. Very, very cheap compared to sort of diesel and petrol. On average, I think I spend about sort of 50, 60, even 70, 80 pounds a week on fuel. So it does creep up without you watching. But electric cars, obviously a lot of companies now, electric companies such as Octopus, are doing great tariffs. So they'll even build you a charging port at home. And they normally do off-peak charging hours, so you can charge an electric car on average from about 0 to 100% for about £6.90, which if you work that out with sort of what it would cost you in a full tank of fuel for the same amount of range, call it 200, 260 miles, you'd probably be looking £60, £70, obviously depending on what size engine you do have. But overall, great cars to have. Definitely something to think about if you are looking to buy a new car in 2025. And the good news is, here at Auto Choice, we have a great selection. We have over 30, 40 EVs in at the moment, ranging from sort of top spec cars like this Tesla Model X Ludicrous, all the way down to things such as Renault Zoes, Nissan Leafs that are all at great prices with great mileages. And it is definitely something to think about. So feel free to give us a call and we're more than happy to help you out. Thank you.
Welcome to Auto Choice Car Supermarket, where we strive to offer great vehicles at fantastic prices. We have a great selection of used vehicles in stock, which is why we are confident we will have the right car for you, whatever your taste or budget. We are extremely proud to have built a fantastic reputation for our excellent customer service and knowledge of used vehicles. To ensure all our customers drive away with peace of mind, we offer a great selection of extended warranty options, ranging from 12 months to the life of ownership. Being fully registered and approved by the FCA, we can offer great finance.